So I recently finished playing Tales of Iron 2: Whiskers of Winter. I actually played the original game for the first time a few weeks ago, and while I did think it was kind of basic in a few aspects, I had so much fun with it that I was more than ready to hop into the second game. And while the sequel isn't exactly a big leap in quality, it is an improvement nonetheless, and I found it to be just as fun as the first game. In this game, you follow a rat named Arlo who seeks revenge after a clan of bats invade his kingdom and murder his father. Like the first game, this one has a gorgeous hand-drawn art style, but it's even more impressive here when seeing the different biomes, whether it's the cold winter wastes or a bright forest with different unknown dangers. And also like the first game, your journey is entirely narrated by Doug Cockle, who most may know as the voice of Geralt from The Witcher, which adds another layer of charm to this quirky yet often serious story. Combat is a lot smoother this time around and doesn't have quite as many wonky hitboxes as the previous game, at least none that stood out to me, making dodging, parrying, and attacking enemies that much more fun. A new addition to combat though is being able to use elemental damage and resistances, adding another layer to taking down enemies not just with weapons but also with 4 elemental spells. Rebuilding your hub area feels much more involved this time around, as it's not simply about needing money, but also different resources, and it was super satisfying building a new tier for a kitchen or a smithy, which allowed me to upgrade my health and weapons. A complaint I do have though is that some boss fights act as monster hunts, where the boss will disappear to a new area of the map after you get their health down enough. While I imagine this works in something like Monster Hunter, here it felt kinda repetitive and didn't exactly work with the flow of combat for me, despite the actual fights being pretty fun. In a lot of ways, you could argue that this game is kind of what the first game could have or should have been, which is why I say the sequel isn't exactly a massive improvement over the first. Which is why I say that if you've never played these games before and this looks interesting to you, I'd say just hop right into this one. Or you could play the first game first, whatever works. Overall, while its additions aren't exactly massive, Tales of Iron 2: Whiskers of Winter improves upon the original simply by expanding on what already worked, like its combat and world design, despite a few hiccups, making this game a great one to start off with for the year.